What if I told you that the reason you cannot sleep at night has nothing to do with your mattress, your room temperature, or even your stress? What if the real problem is something you have been doing wrong your entire life? Something so simple that when you hear it, you will feel angry at yourself for not knowing it sooner? There is a Japanese technique, centuries old, that has transformed the sleep of millions. It does not require medication. It does not require expensive gadgets. It requires only one thing: your willingness to unlearn what the modern world has taught you about rest. Right now, there are two versions of your future unfolding. In one, you continue carrying exhaustion like a second skin, watching your focus crumble, your mood darken, your health deteriorate. In the other, you discover what the Japanese have known for generations, and 7 days from now, you wake up feeling like a different person. Let me tell you about two people who made very different choices. Chapter 1. The Two Paths. Meet David and Sarah. Both 34 years old, both struggling with the same problem. They could not sleep. David would lie in bed, scrolling through his phone, watching the clock tick past midnight, then 1 a.m., then 2. He tried everything: melatonin, white noise machines, blackout curtains, sleep meditations. Some nights he would fall asleep around 3 a.m., only to be jolted awake at 6:30. He dragged himself through days on coffee and willpower, operating at 30% capacity. Sarah discovered something different: an old Japanese practice called Suimin no Junbi, the preparation for sleep. This was not just another bedtime routine. This was a complete philosophy about how humans are meant to transition from wakefulness to rest. Within 7 days, Sarah began sleeping through the night. Within 2 weeks, she woke up naturally, feeling refreshed. Within a month, people at work noticed something had changed. She looked different. She moved through life with a calm energy that seemed almost supernatural. David noticed, and it made him desperate. What did she know that he did not? Chapter 2. The Ancient Wisdom. In Japanese culture, there is a concept called ma, the space between things. Not the things themselves, but the transition. Western culture obsesses over the things: work, sleep, eat, exercise. We jump from one to the other, never acknowledging the space between. But the Japanese understood something profound. The transition matters more than the destination. Your body does not have an on-off switch. You cannot be in full productivity mode at 9 p.m. and expect to be asleep by 9:15. The technique Sarah discovered involved 3 elements. Element 1. Yugur no ritual. The twilight ritual. 2 hours before sleep, you begin the descent, gradually, like the sun setting. The Japanese call this yugur, the twilight hour. You dim the lights in your home to a warm amber glow. You lower your voice. You move more slowly. You signal to every cell in your body that the day is ending. Sarah did this religiously. At 8 p.m., she would dim her apartment lights, light a candle, and move through her space as if she were in a temple. No harsh overhead lights, no bright screens. David would work until 9:30, eat dinner in front of his laptop with brightness turned up, then wonder why his brain would not shut off. Element 2. Kokoro wo kara ni suru. Empty the heart. The practice of emotional release before sleep. The Japanese believe you cannot rest if you are carrying the weight of the day in your heart. Sarah would sit in dim light and say aloud, "Today I felt frustrated with my coworker. Today I felt proud of my presentation. Today I felt worried about my mother's health." She would name each emotion, acknowledge it, then consciously set it down like placing stones on the ground. "I will pick you up tomorrow if I need to, but tonight I rest." Here is the neuroscience. When you verbalize emotions, you activate the prefrontal cortex, which dampens the amygdala's stress response. You are literally calming your nervous system through acknowledgement. The Japanese knew this centuries before brain scans could prove it. David brought every unresolved conflict, every unprocessed emotion into bed with him. Then he wondered why his mind would not stop racing. Element 3. Shizukana Fukaku. The quiet deepening. Once in bed, you do not try to sleep. You practice Shizukana Fukaku, quiet deepening. You breathe slowly, making each exhale longer than each inhale. You do not chase sleep. You do not get frustrated. You simply exist in the quiet, allowing yourself to sink deeper into relaxation without any goal. Sleep is not something you do. It is something you allow. Sarah practiced this with devotion. Some nights she would lie there for 30 minutes, just breathing, just being. Then without warning, sleep would come. Not because she forced it, but because she created the conditions for it to arrive naturally. David would get into bed determined. I will fall asleep tonight. I have to get 8 hours. His body, sensing the pressure, would rebel. Cortisol would flood his system. Sleep would become impossible. Chapter 3. The Transformation. 3 months later, David finally broke. He saw Sarah in the office kitchen and could not take it anymore. "What did you do?" he asked, desperate. "What is your secret?" Sarah smiled with compassion and told him about Suimin no Junbi. The twilight ritual, the emotional release, the quiet deepening. She told him about Ma, about creating space, about surrendering the need to control. David listened, skeptical but desperate. That night, he tried it. He dimmed his lights at 8 p.m. He sat in the amber glow and spoke to his day. Today, I felt inadequate. Today, I felt overwhelmed. Today, I felt angry at myself. He set each feeling down. Then he got into bed, and instead of fighting, he simply breathed. Long, slow exhales. No goal, no pressure. He did not fall asleep immediately, but something shifted. For the first time in months, he did not feel at war with himself. And when sleep came, it came like a friend, gentle and welcome. 7 days later, David woke naturally at 6 a.m. without an alarm, feeling rested. 2 weeks later, he slept through the night. 1 month later, people asked him, "What changed?" The difference between David and Sarah was not intelligence or willpower. Sarah was willing to trust ancient wisdom over modern anxiety. She was willing to create space instead of filling it. She was willing to surrender instead of fight. Chapter 4. Your 7-day transformation. Here is what I want you to do tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight, 2 hours before you want to sleep, dim every light in your home. Set them to warm amber. Move slowly. Speak softly. Begin the descent. 1 hour before sleep, sit somewhere quiet and speak to your day. Name what you felt. Acknowledge what you carried. Then set it down. Tell each emotion, "I see you. I honor you. But tonight, I rest." When you get into bed, do not fight. Do not force. Just breathe. Make each exhale longer than each inhale. Sink into the quiet. Allow the deepening. Sleep is not your enemy. Your body is not broken. You have just been approaching rest, like it is a task to complete instead of a state to allow. Do this for 7 days. Just 7 days. Watch what happens. You will not believe how different you feel, how clear your mind becomes, how much energy returns, how life starts to feel possible again. David and Sarah are not real people, but their stories are happening right now in millions of homes. One version struggles, fights, suffers. The other surrenders, trusts, transforms. Which version will you be? If this resonated with you, if something inside you recognized the truth in these words, then you are ready for more. Subscribe to Zen Mindset, because we are building a community of people who refuse to accept modern exhaustion as normal. We are bringing ancient wisdom into the modern world, one practice at a time, one life at a time. Hit that subscribe button. Not for us, but for the version of yourself that is waiting on the other side of this transformation. The version that sleeps peacefully, wakes naturally, and moves through life with the calm power that comes from true rest. Tonight, when you dim those lights, when you speak to your day, when you lie in the quiet and allow the deepening, remember this: you are not trying a new trick. You are returning to an ancient truth. You are remembering how to be human again. Welcome to Zen Mindset. Welcome home.